With the casino monies, I want to talk about the grants that are made to the host municipalities. Do you feel that that process is working as it should right now?
I hope so. And having gone through the process myself, this will be the second time I've formally applied on behalf of Bear Creek Township, and it'll be a third application. There was one done prior to my joining on. I think there was some pent-up demand for projects that were just waiting for funding, and when this funding became available, that was an easy way to satisfy some of the demand that was out there. Do I think it's always been spent in the best way? No. But then again, what I see as my priority for Bear Creek is going to be different than what somebody in Kingston or Dallas or Nanticoke sees as their priority. So, you know, the one issue that we had significant to the gaming grants was that we were a contiguous community, and there was supposed to be prioritization to contiguous communities. We felt last year we had a good application, actually several good applications were contiguous and were passed over again for the second year. That contiguous treatment, that benefit, has gone away in the new legislation. So now it's going to be anybody in the county based on the public benefit, which I think is a better criteria than what they had before. Because before it was simply based on economic development and safety to mitigate the impact of gaming. It's kind of difficult to make that connection of, okay, well, this is safety, and this is safety to impact or to mitigate the impact of gaming. Now they've made it a little more generic, which actually will help communities like Bear Creek, communities like Laurel Run, who aren't economic development driven. You know, they're bedroom communities, and if you weren't economic development driven, you had a difficult time getting in line for that grant money.
Does the process need revision? I mean, even with the reform, the decisions are still made in Harrisburg, right? Without any local input in terms of prioritization. So we send money to a project in Kingston that never gets off the ground when you have a project at Route 115 safety corridor, right?
Right.
Which is where you want the money for.
Right.
If you're a representative, do you get on the phone and call the department and say, can we rethink this, or what do you do?
Well, I think one of the first things the department needs to do is prioritize based on shovel readiness, you know, as that term is used. If you've got two comparable projects and one can be started in a month and another one is years away from development, obviously the funding should go to the project that's shovel ready. I'd also say that one of the things that we've pushed in our most recent application is a public-private partnership again. We've reached out. We've committed money as the township. We had private entities in the township commit money as well, all subject to obtaining the grant. I think that makes it easier for the state to feel comfortable that they're making a good investment, because it's not the state making all of the investment. It's the local community saying, we need this, we're willing to put up this amount of money, and we want your support to finish off the project. So those are the things that I would look at.
You mentioned Marcellus Shale a couple times during the conversation. What are your thoughts on Marcellus Shale?
Obviously a great opportunity for Pennsylvania, great opportunity for the country in terms of the amount of energy that can be created here. Jobs, community development, but we need to learn from what happened to this community in the coal industry, and we need to do this in an environmentally conscious way. There cannot be a trade-off of extracting this product at the risk of contaminating wells and water supplies. I can tell you one of the first things I inherited when I got into Bear Creek Township was an area of about 50 homes whose wells were all contaminated, and had been to the point where these people were drinking bottled water and bathing in bottled water for more than 5 years. and it's still ongoing.
And what caused that?
Contamination of fuel oil and other things that were at a location in Bear Creek that I'm not sure I'm able to say, given.
I know where it is.
Oh yeah, there aren't too many places, so you can. And that's negatively impacted people, and it's long term. So from that standpoint, as we address Marcellus Shale, that has to be the #1 priority. The way we make sure that doesn't happen is to quickly move towards adopting the rules and regulations that we then empower DEP with enforcing. And it's my understanding DEP is going to have 100 more inspectors on board by the end of this year. And they'll be in a position to get out and monitor this well drilling and make sure it's done in an environmentally conscious way. The nice thing about those 100 inspectors, they're being entirely funded by the permits that are being paid by the well drilling companies. So this is a best case example in my mind of the cost causer, the person who's going to create this need for inspections, ponying up and paying for the expense to make sure that it's done in the right way.
Do you vote to tax it if that vote comes before you?
If we're going to have any meaningful tax reform, and having lost the opportunity to toll Interstate 80, I think that is probably one of the most attractive alternatives we would have right now for improving the budget situation in Pennsylvania and making up some of those gaps that we've seen over the years after significant spending cuts, because that's always my first. We have to cut spending and get that in hand first.
What would your target areas be? Parks, libraries? What is it that you would think? Where's the waste right now?
Well, one of the things we talked about last night was one of the first things I'd challenge every group to do is present a budget to us with a 10% spending cut. And let's see what they believe they can operate and what services would be lost if we had a 10% spending cut. I think that's equally important, is to evaluate the services that would be impacted by that.
Would that include the legislature?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. Those are some things that I think we need to look at immediately.